Hi, welcome to our New York Giants preservation meeting for tonight, which would be March 26, 2026, with Russ Bertetta. Russ is a longtime Giant employee who is a tour guide at Oracle Park. So Russ is going to take us on a tour of the park and include a lot of stuff related to the New York Giants. So if anybody ever goes out to Oracle Park after watching this video, you should be able to get yourself around. Maybe with Russ or without Russ, you'll be able to find a lot of great stuff. There will be no meeting next week, so I'll wish you in advance happy Passover, happy Easter, enjoy. 3 or 4 things I want to discuss before we turn it over to Russ. Chris Haft, who we've had on a couple of times, he's not doing wonderfully. He has Parkinson's disease. He has a GoFundMe page if anybody's interested in helping him out. He was the Giants major league reporter a few years back, and just throwing it out there for you. For the people in New York who subscribe to the New York Post, they're doing something different. If you go there to the Post Sports section, there's a way where you could hit California, and there's now the California Post. And if you click on that button, you should be able to get articles written about the San Francisco Giants. So for the people in New York, it's an added bonus. Evan Weback, who took a tour with us a few years back, is one of the writers on the California Post. And good stuff in there, okay? Eric Romo is here tonight. Eric is now starting his Giant recaps after the game. They're great. I went on it last night after the debacle, and it was very entertaining and funny, but very informative. So, Giant Sports Talk Live, make sure you. It'll be a lot nicer when they win to hop on the show because everybody will be in a better mood. And Larry Hayes is here. Larry is a friend of Russ, and Larry is going to be coming on June 18th. He has a brand new book about Willie Mays. That's just an incredible story. He's going to spend about 2-3 minutes talking about his book and why you should get it. So, Larry, floor is yours for a couple minutes before we turn it over to Russ.
Thank you. You're too kind, Gary. I appreciate these precious minutes today. As I'm thrilled to precede Russ along with Connie and Joan and a few others that are on there. They are some of the best tour guides in the country. A big, huge thanks to Gary and the entire society for keeping the New York Giants spirit vibrant and alive, and for helping me to become inspired to write a debut novel. You folks know better than just about anybody else that the Giants left behind a lasting legacy in 1957. And a huge part of that legacy is who inspired my book called 14 Going on 24, Growing Up with Willie Mays. Some of you might be wondering, is Larry's just another book about Mays? Didn't Society member and renowned national sports writer John Shea already co-author with Willie a best-selling book with their 24 life stories and lessons from the Say Hey Kid? Absolutely they did. But never before has anyone curated a fictional tale about Mays that weaves his on-field exploits with his off-field life and events at a realistically and chronologically accurate pace. Now, while the crack of the bat is certainly the soundtrack of my tale, this is a book for anyone who has ever had a dream or a mentor. The meat of the story begins in 1951. For our teenage narrator, James, it was supposed to just be another lazy summer of stickball games and Giants radio broadcasts. That was before he met a whirlwind of joy named Willie. To the world, Mays would soon become the Say Hey Kid. But to James, he's the friend sharing a cherry Coke and ice cream with while teaching him that catching a long fly ball is like catching a dream. You have to keep running until your feet leave the ground. In this novel, you'll be sitting right alongside James at the dinner table with Willie. Be there on their strolls to the polo grounds before games and riding shotgun with Willie during some mostly quiet car rides in the Tidewater region during Willie's Army years. You'll even learn about the one time that Leo the Lip cursed out his beloved Willie, and you'll have a box seat view about why he had to. As their friendship matures, James is swept up in the miracle events from the shot to the catch and more as the story glides through a rich and multi-layered golden age of Giants history. The early positive response to the story has been humbling. Willie's son, Michael, called it a wonderfully nostalgic trek that captures the cultural significance of his father's character and impact. And John Shea, who literally wrote the book on and with Willie, said, it's splendid. And even though it's fiction, the details are so specific, it feels like you're standing right there besides the Say Hey Kid yourself. Now, beyond baseball, the book covers many personal experiences, events, and like many in-depth stories, this is kind of a little bit of a spoiler alert. It has some tearjerkers, a couple of not so very steamy romantic scenes, and even some genuine hold your breath white knuckle drama. You can pre-order it right now at my author site shown behind me, 14 going on 24.com, online via Amazon, or preferably through your local independent bookstore. Support them, folks. And while none of us could ever play the game that Willie could, the way that Willie could, we can all at least act like him, because a portion of the book's net proceeds will be donated to his Say Hey Foundation and to Michael Mays' Youth Rescue Project. Your purchases will help support the important youth advocacy initiatives championed by both of these worthwhile Mays legacies. As Gary said, he's graciously asked me back to join with you on Zoom on June 18th. We'll discuss the book in greater depth. If you can get your book in time and are a fast reader, perhaps we can discuss some of your impressions of the story at that time too. So, Gary, thanks again for letting me share some Say Hey magic with everyone today. Russ, take it away.
Thanks.
Gentlemen and ladies, it's my privilege to introduce and welcome to the New York Giants Preservation Society, Russ Bertetta, who is a member. But Russ and Norm, the floor is yours.
Okay.
Okay, now you want to.
All right, we're getting just ourselves set right here. Okay. And first of all, welcome everybody. I've even got my, I'm not sure if you can see this, but I have my tour guide outfit on, complete with all my swag. So this is what we wear when we're out on tour duty. We have a great staff of about, 24? Coincidentally, 24 tour guides. I think we're at that number. But that's just one of the 24 things that we're going to talk about as we go along. So we're ready to roll.
This right here should do it.
Okay. So welcome to the 144th season of Giant Baseball, 69 of those in San Francisco, and our 27th season at Third and King. I want to welcome you all. Please feel free to take pictures. Ask me any questions. And actually, we're going to try to do that a little bit today instead of waiting till the end. But if you've got one quick question about one of the stops, kind of jump right in. And then if we got longer questions, we'll do that at the end. But we just kind of like do one at a time. So we're here starting our tour at 24 Willie Mays Plaza, and the iconic statue of Willie, the first one that was put here. And this is basically, since its beginning days, has been, this is where you meet somebody. You simply say, I'll meet you at Willie Mays, and everybody knows exactly where that is and where we go from there. Now we walk down Second and King, down towards Second and King, and we see the statue of Orlando Cepeda, which was put up in the year 2016. And Orlando was and I was really surprised by this. He was the first Puerto Rican player to play in the All-Star game. He actually preceded Roberto Clemente by 1 year. Standing on the other side of the Second and King entrance is the partner in which trade was the worst of all time, Gaylord Perry for Sam McDowell or Orlando Cepeda for Ray Sadecki? I talked with Norm about it the other day. I think both of us agree that the trade for Perry for McDowell was actually more harmful in the long run than the Cepeda for Sadecki. Gaylord is still the second winningest pitcher in Giant history, and he is ahead of number three, Madison Bumgarner. Now here's the great statue of Juan Marichal. This is where we normally begin our tours. Juan's statue was put up in 2005. He was the first Dominican player to be in the Hall of Fame. He has more wins than any other pitcher in San Francisco Giants history, and arguably, well, not arguably, he is simply the best pitcher in San Francisco Giants history, and he's pitched more opening days than anybody else. And interestingly enough, last night, Logan Webb became the second most starts for a starting pitcher for the Giants. I saw Juan Marichal pitch his no-hitter in 1963. That's pretty cool. Now, across the cove now, we have the statue of Willie McCovey, and that was put up in 2003 in a different place, than it has been moved now in front of the Visa building at the other side of the McCovey Cove and the Mission Rock project.
Russ, can I stop you for 1 second?
You may.
Norm, is there a way to get that cursor out of there? There you go. Perfect. Yep.
Okay. And we're just going to wrap up our statues with another picture of Willie surrounded by a bunch of palm trees, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. And here's a picture that I think, was this you from Larry that you got sent to us? But here's the big five. And the sad thing about this picture is that only one is left alive. So the great five statues. Now, the big question that people ask all the time at the ballpark is, will there be another statue? And if so, who? That's supposed to be Barry. Where will Barry be put? Who knows? I'm sure that all of us have different opinions about who should have another statue. My own personal choice is Peter McGowan should have a statue, but we shall see if that happens. All right, now we're walked up to section 317, and here we have a beautiful sunlit day, and although it's a little hazy in the background, this is where we talk from upstairs, section in 317, and we have one of the most iconic views in all of baseball. Now, a couple of things about the grass. I'm not going to go into a whole lot. It's 7/8 of an inch long. That's the Johnny Franco, who is the new guy in charge of the grounds crew. That's what the grass is cut out, 7/8 of an inch. It's a blend of Kentucky bluegrass and Bermuda. The Kentucky bluegrass for its prettiness and the Bermuda for its strength. Let's see. Our grass is the only field in all of baseball where there are no lines, logos, or patterns cut into the grass. Once in a while, you might see something that looks like it's an SF after on an opening day, or a 25 when Barry had his jersey retired. But that's a different machine that blows the blades of grass backwards, and you cannot see it unless you are in an elevated position. You can't see it from ground level. And here's a picture of the field, the park on a game day. So it looks even more exciting, just like it was last night. I thought last night was really pretty exciting with all the great looks of the field and the packed stands. Now we walk down the walkway upstairs to section 301, and we have a completely different view of the ballpark. Now you might see that there are lines on that, but that's just because of the cutting. You see the Bay Bridge in the background, and then you see over on the right-hand side the little ferry landing. We have ferry boats that come from Larkspur in Marin County, from Vallejo, and from the East Bay. And actually, fans, not even fans, but San Francisco residents would be directed to go to the ferry landing in case there was an earthquake, where ferry boats would then come to take them to different parts for safety. Approximately 50% of the Giants fans come on different methods of mass transportation because our parking lot is shrinking, and they say that there will be parking underground eventually. And my response to that is, I will be underground before that parking ever materializes. And now we walk down the steps from 301 down to suite number 1, the Tony Bennett suite, named after, of course, Tony Bennett, the great singer, whose song "I Left My Heart in San Francisco" is our victory song. So Tony Bennett suite did not get some of the remodeling that some of the other suites did. You can see some of his record albums there. And then looking inside the suite out to the field is a little view of that. This picture up in the top on the top right has Willie Mays and Tony Bennett basically exchanging jerseys and autographing a jersey for each other. Oh, and this lovely young lady was one of Tony, I think probably Tony Bennett's last wife. And this was his 85th birthday at the ballpark. I think his last appearance, and so one of the other guides can jump in, was I think right before the pandemic. Towards the end of his life when he was about 90 or so. And here's a view, not really directly from the Tony Bennett suite, but if you step outside and are sitting out the seats and you turn to the right towards McCovey Cove, and you can see all the kayaks that have been out there over the course of the years. Now, I guess it was last year, they put up a screen underneath the Bank of America sign, so now you can actually see the ball game from your kayak. I think my first year as a tour guide, I saw 3 kayaks lashed together. One had a barbecue, one had a TV, and they were just having a great old time out there. So you never know what you're going to see out in McCovey Cove. Now, we've left Tony Bennett's suite and we're walking down the hallway towards the other end. And this very inobtrusive labeling is the entrance to the Gotham Club game room. Okay, so it's one of those things that if you know, you know. We tell new guides that it's right opposite suite number 35. So most people, they just walk by there and just see that. Oh, look at that. Who knows what's in there? So we're going to go inside. And there again, you see the logo. And this is probably a rendition, I would guess, of Carl Hubble. The game room is really an homage to John McGraw and others that were in the business of providing some entertainment, some relaxation to ball players. Remember, during this time, all the games were in the afternoon. They were relatively short because there was no radio and television commercials. And they were all daytime. There was not a whole lot of, let's say, appropriate after game places to go to. So McGraw and some others owned bowling alleys and billiard rooms. Interestingly enough, in one of the things I read, the fixer of the World Series, well, I'm blanking on his name now, was a partner with, who's going to help me there? Somebody.
Arnold Rothstein?
Arnold Rothstein, sorry, yeah. Arnold Rothstein was one of John McGraw's partners in a couple of these bowling alleys. So that's kind of a little sidelight. And it was also, from what I read about that in that book about Charles Stoneham, Rothstein was also responsible for introducing Charles Stoneham to different figures in the National League. So one of the new things that we've done in tours is have a thing called Hands-on History, where we take different things from Giants history, some actual and some secondary things like we don't have actually Barry Bonds, all of his MVP trophies, but we do have some second, I'm losing the words.
Replicas.
Yeah, your replicas. I'm sorry. I'm saying this so fast. Anyway, this is my finger with Willie McCovey's 2014 World Series ring next to mine. So tour guides have an opportunity to purchase a ring at a discounted price. Has no gold nor silver, gold or diamonds on it. And as you can see, Willie McCovey's ring is a lot bigger than mine because I have a small hand and it was made to my hand. But as I show all my guests, my name is right on the side, just like Willie McCovey's name is on the side. But this is one of the fun things we do. If you rent a suite at the ballpark, you have an option of having one of the tour guides come in and show you some of the different displays that we have, whether it's a Willie McCovey ring, a silver bat from Willie Mays, or a Brandon Crawford bat, different types of things that we have put together. So that's a relatively new thing at the park in the last year and a half. Now, continuing our walk down the hallway from the Gotham Club game room, we go to the end, which is the Cloud Club. The Cloud Club is relatively new. It came in as ballpark trends were changing. The suites weren't being rented all the time, and we needed to come up with some more modern, more flexible plan for our guests, people who didn't want to spend thousands of dollars on a luxury suite for the year, or who had trouble filling it with their clients and guests and so forth and so on. So we actually took out 4 suites at the end and created the Cloud Club. Cloud Club membership is a contract between 1 and 3 years, and you have a share or credit equal to 1 guest. You can buy 3 different types of plans. One is called the City Plan, and that's a 40 share plan. Then there's the City Builder Plan, and that's 80 shares. And then the City Founder is 120 shares. So basically, that's a ticket each share. And one of the great things about the Cloud Club is that there are displays of different things of San Francisco. So here you see some iconic scenes of San Francisco. So it's part of the artwork there. The artwork, the food, and the beverages change each month to reflect different areas of San Francisco. So whether it's the Mission District and some Latin food, Chinatown, whatever, that's what they do. And the great thing is all this is inclusive in your price. So once you go into the club, you're not paying extra like you do when you have a luxury suite. Here's a couple of different views from the Cloud Club. Okay. And it's a pretty good place to see the ball game. If you haven't had an opportunity to do that, try to find a way to get into the Cloud Club. So now we've left the Cloud Club and we're going down the stairs to our club level. Now, I have to do a few caveats here. The club level has just been recently opened, and we were not able to get any pictures of any of the new things. So the Cloud Club displays, and I'll tell you a little bit about this, the one we have this year, the Cloud Club, it looks completely different. So the Snoopy characters are no longer upstairs. They are going to be down in the 415 Club down below in the kids area. And replacing the Peanuts characters will be a bar. And so that's kind of the theme of a lot of the Giants Reformation. The Snoopy characters came to us from the Charles Schulz Museum in Santa Rosa. And Charles Schulz, there's a matching set in Minnesota because that's where Charles Schulz was raised. But these are really popular with the kids. And I know that when we have schools up, that's where they always want to see and get pictures taken. So we have to find something new for them. So here's a few display pieces that we have up from the different pieces that Missy, our archivist, puts up every year. These were from a couple of years ago, and they were all based upon the Giants magazines over the past 25 years. And you see Barry and Rob Nen and Matt Cain, and so they're different themes. All you New Yorker guys are going to love this new one this year. The entire design has changed. There's just going to be 3 large displays. The first one is on Giants in the Hall of Fame. The second one is on the Giants in New York. And then the third one is on Giants from around the world, featuring all the players from Latin America and Asia as well that have worn Giant uniforms. So it's a completely different look to it. And I think that anybody that gets up there is really going to fall in love with it. And I wish I had some more pictures, but when I was looking at it the other day, it was still in its formative stages. So here's a few more of the different ones from the last couple of years. And whether it's the World Series, Madison Bumgarner, Felipe, you can see them all there. Now we go downstairs one more time, and we're on the promenade level, and we're walking into the Bob Stevens press box. Okay, so starting up on the upper left, that second desk in the back is the home to the baseball authenticators. Larry's often up there with those guys. They are important in keeping baseball artifacts, all the things in the second, the game use shops authentic. And most of them are law enforcement officials because of the chain of custody. So that's really important in making sure that the things that people buy that are supposedly a autograph ball from Ted Williams or whatever else, those are all legit. And then next to the authenticator is usually Eddie Montague, the 34-year Major League umpire. He's just moved up to Petaluma, so I'm not sure if we'll be seeing him as regularly, but he's the supervisor of umpires. And so he writes notes and sends all those information to Major League Baseball after every game. And that then determines who gets to work the All-Star game, playoffs, etc. And Eddie's a great guy, and I taught his kid, and so he's always great for some stories. And the front row on the right, that's basically the seating for the press box. I think it was right before I joined the team in 2014. They actually took part of the press box and sold it to Salesforce for a luxury suite, the Champions Salesforce. That particular contract has run out, and we, as of yet, don't have a name on it. But the Giants realized that they did not need as many spots in the press box, and so what they do best is they found something empty space and they turn it into a moneymaker for them. The press box is usually one of the most highly regarded press boxes because of its proximity to home plate. There's not a big seniority system like there is in Boston. The windows that you see there are always open unless it's a really, really cold, rainy night. And so the people that are sitting there in those seats, they have to pay really, really close attention to what's going on the field, lest they lose their lunch, both metaphorically and actually, and get hit by a ball. And then you see the middle picture is right behind center field there. Those windows, like I said, right behind home plate. And so that's a little bit about our press box. Mars, I'm sorry I didn't get your picture in this one, but this was taken before when we were first putting this together. But so on the left, we have different 25 years of media guides. That was up obviously in the press box a couple of years ago. And then the one on the right are different pins, World Series and other types of pins from Katie Feeney, who worked in Major League Baseball. And then her father, of course, was the great Chub Feeney for the Giants. But that's all up there as well. There's also in the press box written rules about behavior in the press box. For example, you cannot wear any team attire in the press box. There's no cheering in the press box. And so those are posted up in English, Spanish, Japanese, and now Korean for the press. So make sure that they all behave themselves. And then up in the back, we have some of our World Series, not banners, but just the looks like the Major League pins that are enlarged. Coming out of the press box, at least as of the end of last season, we walked right to the World Series trophies. And I think that I might always begin my stories about the trophies. Like most of you, I thought I would never see one of these in my lifetime. especially after we lost to the damn Angels, who can't win to save themselves. But anyway, on the left is the 2010 trophy. In the middle is the 2014, and the 2012 is on the right-hand side. They are in the process of being moved. They have been taken down from our tour route from probably the middle of November, and they're still not out. They're going to be going to a place that is right around the corner where they've made a like a big, I'm just going to call it an extended porch inside overlooking Willie Mays Plaza. And the trophies will be there along with the rings. And they will be side by side rather than in front and back. So the ballpark, if you haven't been to the ballpark this year and you're waiting to give yourself some time when you come to the park, because there's many, they did 27 different projects during the course of this season. The area over Willie Mays Gate is a huge project. 3 different jobs within the field club level lounge were done. New seats right under the press box. So there's all kinds of different things at the ballpark that we, as the guides, haven't even seen the completed version yet. Okay, now we look out to left field, and the famous view from left field, the Coke bottle, sitting at a degree of 24 degrees. Okay, the Coke bottle is over 85 feet long, weighs 130,000 pounds, too big for a truck to bring it down from Petaluma where it was finished. They had to go it was put on the back of a barge and floated down San Francisco Bay on January the 1st, 2000 at 2 a.m. This was to avoid huge traffic jams as the Coke bottle sailed under the Bay Bridge. Okay. Now, the original design for the Coke bottle was 250 feet. The Giants said, no. This is the view level. We want people to see the hills of Oakland. The other thing was that it was first standing straight up. Okay. And so again, the Giants said, we're not doing that. And Coke, one of our first sponsors, has been with us since the beginning. The glove over next to the Coke bottle. Oh, lastly, about the Coke bottle, there are 4 different slides in the Coke bottle. And in the early days of the ballpark, adults were allowed to go on the Coke bottle. But I can imagine a Friday night with too many beers and too many drunk young people going down the slide and getting hurt. So after a while, that was it became a Disneyland ride where you have to be X amount of tall, but you can't be too tall. The glove from right field is an old-fashioned model, somewhere in the 1927 era. It's an old 4-fingered glove, and I always ask the guests, unless they're kids, what do we do with the 5th finger? And they say, well, we put it on the outside, or you put 2 together. And my response, especially if we just have adults, is, well, most of the time we just try to give it to the Dodgers at every opportunity. The glove is 27 feet high. It is 518 feet from home plate. No one has ever hit the glove. Okay. The longest one in that direction was Andres Galarraga a few years ago at 486 feet. And Barry, of course, has the record for the longest distance, 499, based to the base of the scoreboard. One of the novel little twists of the glove is that the ladies who were working on it, sewing it all up and putting all the stuff that needed to hold the glove together, they decided they wanted to leave a little piece of themselves in the glove. And so, from what I understand, have not seen it personally, but people have confirmed it, that there is a clothesline with ladies' lingerie hanging in the glove. So again, can't confirm that, but I'm taking it on good authority. Okay, and here's my little kids coming down the slide. All right, moving over to right field, we see the Levi's Landing, and we see Willie Mays Wall, one of the many 24 references. Okay, it's 24 feet high, so it is the Willie Mays Wall. It is the shortest in the National League at only 309 feet. And from what I was been told, we had to get a special permit from the National League to have it that distance. And the reason that it can't go further was because the sidewalk in back needed to be wide enough to accommodate emergency vehicles going both ways. And so that's why the fence is only 309 feet. But as we know, it's still not easy to hit one out of here. Okay. The archways under the Levi's Landing sign is part of that is the Gotham Club has pregame parties out there, so you can get down on the field and watch batting practice from there. But it's also the home of the Knothole Gang, and this is an homage to late 19th century baseball, where fans would look at the game through the knotholes of wooden fences. And so you go to there, you can watch a game for free. I'm not sure if anybody in the group has done that, but I have not. But you can get your wristband, you line up, and then they bring in. You watch 3 innings, and every 3 innings they rotate 24 people in and out of the the Knothole Gang. So that's the Willie Mays Wall. And here's the on the arcade level. This is the brick pillars that shoot water into the air for 2 seconds, and to celebrate any type of home run. And of course, since we are San Francisco, it is reclaimed water. The cable car out near the scoreboard once was a working cable car, fully working in San Francisco, decommissioned and refurbished. It was put out here. And if you're able to sit on the inside the cable car during the game, you can actually, when the Giants score runs at the end of the inning, you can ring the cable car bell any number of times, like the runs that we scored. So obviously last night, nobody got any work out there. Now, one little quick story that I've just added to my tour, and I heard this from our one of our other guides, my good friend Rodney, is that the rails, the handrails on the cable car, where people like to ride the cable car and hold on, and they're standing up and so forth. Well, women were not allowed to do that until 1965. If you were a woman riding the cable car, you had to sit inside or you had to sit on the benches, but you could not stand and hold on. And then, of course, Berkeley, California, a young student who was involved in the free speech movement said, "The heck with that." And she wanted to ride the cable car standing up. And finally, after being taken off or maybe even arrested a couple of times, San Francisco cable cars changed the rules, and women were allowed to hold on and stand in 1965. Pete's Coffee, around the corner from the scoreboard. First of all, that's the original bobblehead for Willie Mays standing out there. And then at the top of the Pete's Coffee, you see the SF sign, and I say the 2 big Shrek ears coming out of the SF, and those are foghorns that used to be on the Golden Gate Bridge and at Candlestick Park, and they go off when the Giants hit any kind of home run. All right, now I've got some numbers here for the sign in center field. All right, so this is right at the kind of the tip of the ballpark out in center field, and this is a directional sign, so it has a sign for the distance to Cooperstown, the distance to McCovey Cove. At the very top, there's one for the Garden, which is down, of course, in center field. Seal Stadium was 2 miles away. The Polo Grounds, 2,925 miles away. And Candlestick Park, 6.2 miles away. There's also some seats from Candlestick Park that are under that sign as well. All right, we're switching directions. We're going down to in a sense, the bowels of the stadium, and this is our award-winning recycling center. One of the things that the Giants have been most proud of is our role in doing what we can to leave the earth a better place. We are very, very concerned about recycling, reclamation, water conservation, etc. And so This is where most of that happens, is at recycling center. And you can see some of the awards, the different awards that the Giants have won. On the bottom right are the green gloves that the Giants have won. The Giants have won those 13 times. No other team has won it more than once. We've had a few years where we haven't won, so I know that the Giants are hungry to get that another green glove in our trophy display case, which again has been moved. It used to be on the club level around the corner or at the end of the display cases, and so far it is missing. We don't know where that's going to be at this particular time. Up on top is some additional awards we have won. We are the only professional sports franchise in the United States and maybe even in the world that has won platinum certification for lead technology. So Giants are real proud of all those things. One we last won in 2023, I think it was, we recycled approximately 98% of the post-game waste. So this is something that is very important for all of us at the ballpark to advertise. Okay. So part of our fun zone now, down below for the kids, is the Lego statues of Madison Bumgarner and Buster Posey. First, they started upstairs next to the near the Coke bottle, and then they were moved upstairs on the view level, and now they have been removed and they are downstairs in the kids' fun zone. And they're about 70-75% life size. So they're pretty cool. If you see them and your kids, your grandkids have played with Legos, they love these things. Now we've moved down to the around the corner from where the Bum and Posey statues are, and we moved to our garden, our organic garden. The Giants were probably the first team to do this, building this organic garden out in center field. And so if you're buying some food out there, it will be made with the different organic products that we produce in that particular area. So a few years ago, there was talk that the garden was going to be removed and replaced with something else. But as of yet, there's been no any more discussion on that. It's a pretty popular place for a lot of different people to enjoy. Okay, so these are our Roombas. Okay, so you've all seen the advertisements for Roombas vacuuming your carpets. These are they will cut our lawn. So these are made by Husqvarna, and they're used on a lot of golf courses, and that's where Greg Elliott got the idea. And so we've had these for about 4 or 5 years now, and it's interesting just to see them going back and forth across the field, and they're programmed to cut the grass to the length that our crew wants it. In our opening meeting, we met with Johnny, and he talked about the Giants under his leadership now are not going to use these as much as they're going to use the actual man-driven lawnmowers. So, but they're still a popular feature to see. We also have a dozen or so, or about six drones that fly over the ballpark every morning, taking infrared pictures of what is under the subsurface of the grass. Giants bullpen in center field, and obviously seats were taken out of that. So our attendance is no longer the 42,000 that we originally opened up with. And now we've got a couple of small shots from from Mike Murphy's clubhouse. Let me say that getting pictures of the clubhouse is not the easiest thing to do. Okay, the Giants are pretty proprietary about who takes pictures and what they're going to show. So what we have here was last year I got to do a tour of the ballpark, or the ballpark for North Carolina State baseball team, who was out at Cal, and they were trying to continue the great rivalry of Cal and North Carolina State baseball. And the coach called up Bailey and said, "Hey, can we get something special?" And so that's how they got into the Giants clubhouse. And so there's Bailey's jersey, his chair, his green glove or his gold glove award. We had the coach sit in the chair and Patrick Bailey's chair and his team around him. And so that was pretty cool. And then this one over here on the left with all the shoe boxes, that was Willie Adamas's locker. And then I think Webb there's a couple other ones whose numbers I can't read. But this is about as good as we could get for the Giants clubhouse. Giants clubhouse is really pretty cool. If those of you who have been in there, it's about 3 times the size of the visitors clubhouse, and it's got a wave pool. It's got the huge weight room, and it's just got all kinds of great training facilities. Now we have left the clubhouse, and we're walking down the hallway, and we talk about these pipes that are on the left. And so the pipes are constructed in this way basically because our ballpark is built to prevent earthquakes, or not prevent earthquakes, but to deal with earthquakes in a safe manner so that the ballpark doesn't, get completely wrecked. The pipes up there that you see, they actually expand rather than snap if there's an earthquake. You see on the right side, those are plastic, a rubber that's in the wall. So there are 5 different sections built here at the ballpark. Each section was built independently from ground up, okay? And they come together where the pipes are and the rubber in the wall. If you were to take that rubber out, there would be simply an empty space, okay? We can withstand an 8.0 earthquake at the yard, and that is compared to a 6.9 quake that ruined the 1989 World Series. So this is really a ballpark, very, 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 very specially built. Now we take the stairs down from that area down to the Giants dugout. The Giants on third base are one of only 12 teams in Major League Baseball that home team sits on the third base side. The dugouts they're pretty standard. I mean, you can see the heaters that are on the kind of like the ceiling heaters up on the top on the left. And the reason why the Giants are on third base, there's 2 different stories. One is that Dusty Baker, as the ballpark was being designed and constructed, Dusty thought that the sight lines from third base were better than from first base. And then the other story is that there's simply much more space on the third base side, so that allows the Giants to have that much, much larger clubhouse than on the visitor side. So that's why the Giants are on third base, and it's the kids love to be in the dugout, and they like to sit and they like to look at the phone. So it's a good thing. The batting cage. And so here's the one of the batting cages. I believe this is the Giants one, but it could be actually the visitors one. But they're pretty much exactly the same. And right now we haven't been in the batting cages because they're also doing a lot of work. You might remember when the ballpark first opened with the windows there, and fans could actually go down and get close and look through the windows and watch people hit in the cage. That's changed. The windows are still there, obviously, but there's things in front of them now because the players just didn't like the distraction of fans looking through the windows. Okay. One of my favorite parts of the whole tour is our history hallway. So when you enter the tour from the Lefty O'Doul gate, you walk in and there's one set of walls that has a timeline of the Giants in New York. And then we turn to the right to go into our video room. And this is this is the right-hand side of the wall. And then there's, actually, this is the left-hand. No, this is the right-hand side of the wall. And it has the timeline of the Giants in San Francisco. Okay, and here you can see some of the great events that have occurred here at our multi-named ballpark. And here's the other side that actually this is the right-hand side. I'm sorry, and has a scorecard from I think that's Jonathan Sanchez's no-hitter. And then there is Buster and his wife from one of the World Series parades, and it's pretty good. And then we have this. This is our Hall of Fame we have more Giants, more players have worn a Giants or Gotham uniform at 67, and that includes now Carlos Beltran and Jeff Kent. 67 players have worn a Giant uniform at some point in their career that are in the Hall of Fame. The bottom row is going to have some kind of movement going on when they add Jeff Kent's Hall of Fame plaque, but then Carlos Beltran will be added at the right. So this includes not just San Francisco Giants, but all the Giants who have played from back in the New York days, and it has our Stu Miller, Russ Hodges, and Lon Simmons are not Stu Miller, John Miller, sorry, who are in the broadcasters wing of the Hall of Fame. I love this thing, and it's a lot of fun to look at. One of the reasons that I can't show you some of our other areas in the history hallway is because all the machines that work at the left dual gate are standing in front of those. And so in order to get pictures, we can only do that when those machines are used when there's a ball game. And so we weren't able to get any pictures of that. Now we're going to take you for a little walk outside, and we are on the port walk out and back of right field. And on the left-hand side, you see the parts of the Mission Rock project, that major project that the Giants and partners are building to help with the bottom line of the Giants. On the left, the white building is the Visa headquarters. That big brick building is an apartment building that has different percentages of low rent rates. It cannot be a condominium because it is owned by the land is owned by the city of San Francisco. And then you see the bridge, which we'll see more of now. I was hoping to get a shot of a little boat sailing under the bridge. Oh, I guess there is one over there. Maybe, is that? And it's pretty cool. So this is the Lefty O'Dual Bridge, the same bridge designed by Mr. Strauss, who designed the Golden Gate Bridge. This bridge was completed in 1933, and it is a working drawbridge, and it is really, really fun when we hear the siren go off, and then slowly the bridge starts to go up. If you've seen A View to a Kill, James Bond movie, it was in that. It was in the Dirty Harry movies. It's been in a lot of different San Francisco movies, but it is just one of the things that makes our ballpark pretty unique. Looking through from a little bit of a distance into the area where the Gotham Club, the Knothole Gang is. And then a better picture of the Mission Rock project. There's lots of things going on. This is probably a 5 to 10 years. That area was 28 acres, and now it's and half of it is now filled with the first part of the Mission Rock project. The park, there's bars, of course, there's different restaurants and sandwich places. So what the Giants are hoping to do with this is to create a new neighborhood, and also create some money for the bottom line. Okay, now let me get my notes so we can see which ones are here. So on the port walk, we have kind of like the Giants Hall of Fame, if you will, the events that occurred at the ballpark that made it so special. We have 28 plates, and we've got and Gabe took pictures of 4. So we have a couple of pictures here up at the top that are from World Series Parade on the left, the opening of the ballpark on the upper right, and then there's Matt Cain's perfect game from June of 2012, and then one of Timmy Lincecum's no-hitters. And this one is all Barry. Barry was great about saving some of his best moments for San Francisco, whether it was in Candlestick or here at Oracle Park. A lot of his famous home runs have been hit here. 756, 700, 715. I saw 73. So Barry was really, really good about timing his important blast for the yard. Up on this one, this is the last one we'll see. This is the World Series parade in 2014. I got to tell you, one of the great thrills in my life was to walk in that parade. They took us, we met in Pier 48. They had a big breakfast spread and drinks and food and everything. And then it was time to get on the bus. And they took us to Spear Street and Market and dropped us out there. And there was just thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people out hanging out of windows and cheering. It was just an event that I will never, ever, ever forget. And so, yeah, these are the victory parades in the National League Championships that we won. Obviously, none of these events include a World Series because all of our World Series were won on the road. Okay, as we come towards the end, we're going back to 2nd and Carey on King Street, where we have the San Francisco Giants Wall of Fame. This came about in 2008 as celebrating our 50th anniversary and honoring the great San Francisco Giants. And the other day when we were doing some test runs with Norm here and Gary and Larry, and Gary wants not only San Francisco Giants, but he wants New York Giants on this as well. I'm not sure where that's going to happen, Gary. I don't know, but I know you want it. But this is it honors the ball players who have played 9 years with the team, or played 5 years and have won and been in the World Series, or have won an All-Star, been in an All-Star game. So we're going to show you some of these that are kind of just fun to look back at seeing some of the guys. And here's, of course, Peter McGowan, the man whose idea this was. And then this one here, I like this one. This is a 1970s, back to the 70s. Randy Moffett, Jim Barr, Darrell Evans, and Gary Lavelle. And so if you were watching the Giants during those years, listening to them like I was, those were 4 guys that were they were good guys. And as I was saying to Norm just a minute ago, Darrell Evans may be one of the more underrated Giants from our time in San Francisco. He never got the huge amount of fame that the others got, that people called him Howdy Doody because they thought he looked like Howdy Doody, but he was a good player. He was a good player. One of our better trades. And now we're going back to the 60s era. Bob Bolin, who happened to be, I really liked Bob Bolin when I was a kid. Big, tall guy, could throw the heck out of the ball. Mike McCormick, really one of our underrated, really, really good pitchers. Jimmy Davenport, one of the original Giants, 1958. And then the Mule, Dick Dietz, who didn't play with those guys much in the 60s, but it certainly was a great catcher in the 70s. An all-star, at least for 1 year. Now, as we're drawing towards a close, we're going to have some New York stuff, New York Giants things. And this is the plaque, the replica plaque of Eddie Grant. And I'm sure that you guys know the story about how on the very last game in 1957, the original plaque was somehow taken off the monument in center field. Obviously, there were no security checks on people bringing in like crowbars or anything like that. But and that plaque has never been seen again. When Larry Baer and Peter McGowan heard about this, that there was a curse on the Giants that they would never, ever win a pennant until the Eddie Grant plaque was replaced, or something to recognize Eddie was put up at Oracle Park. And so in 2008, this was put up, or 2006, 2006. And then, of course, we have 10, 12, and 14. So the curse of Eddie Grant. And don't you love all these baseball curses? I just think they're great. Right next to Eddie is Lefty O'Doul. And Lefty O'Doul is one of now 4 Americans that are in the Japanese Hall of Fame. And Lefty, if you're not sure, he was a mediocre pitcher who turned to be into a pretty darn good hitter. Not long enough really to earn a space in the Hall of Fame, although that's certainly a point of debate. But he still holds, along with Bill Terry, the National League record for 254 hits in a season. And I think in 1930, he hit 398. So he had a great year, and of course, all of his contributions to baseball in Japan. And one little quick story I had a number of years ago, and we had his plaque up on the club level, and this Japanese woman, she was so excited, and she said that Lefty O'Doul served as her mother's. He gave her mother away at her wedding. You know, her husband had been killed during the war in Japan, and Lefty O'Doul was so well known for his baseball, and she got to know him, and she asked him if he would give her away when when she remarried, and they showed me a picture of Lefty O'Doul walking this woman down the aisle of a Japanese wedding. So I always got a kick out of that one. All right, now we see some New York stuff, and these are all the paintings that are basically in the, I'm just going to call it the owner's parking lot that overlooks 3rd Street, okay? And this is some of the history of the Giants, the first franchise in North American professional sports to win 10,000 games, most victories in a Major League Baseball, and most victories in Major League Baseballs, and which is still there. And we still have one more win over the Dodgers. So we are still have a winning record over every team in baseball. We have one more win over the Dodgers. So we hope we can take the season records this year. So here's some of the different things that honor our history in New York. Players and the year they were inducted to the Baseball Hall of Fame. The years that the Giants won the National League pennants. And of course, one of the pictures that I didn't get because the flags were not up is all along the third baseline. We have the National League pennants, black pennants, honoring all of the championships that the Giants won in New York. And then there's the World Championships. And here are 24 palm trees that surround the statue of Willie Mays, 24 defibrillators around the ballpark. In the visitors' clubhouse, there are 24 lockers on one side of the wall. The Giants and AT&T, thank you. 24 characters in that statement. And the Giants and Oracle, thank you. 24 letters and characters in that statement. And in the last couple of years, I've been ending my tour by saying that when my wife and I were we went to Paris for our 40th anniversary, and my luggage got lost. We had just a terrible flight. We got up to our room so many hours later, and the gentleman handed me the key to the second floor. He says, here's room 24. And I just thought that was just totally perfect karma. So 24. Oh, now, if you guys remember, as you walked in this entrance, there was over to the left-hand side a display case for Willie and the Giants and the Willie Mays Foundation, and they had all the Silver Slugger bats. They had all the different things out there, the gold gloves and all the baseballs that people had donated. That's also has been moved, and that also has 24 characters in that as well. But that has been moved to the right next to the entrance to the Club 58 or whatever they call that, right inside inside Willie Mays Plaza. So another one of the changes that is at the ballpark. Okay, we got a couple of pictures from Gary, and this was from Willie's funeral. And one of the reasons we wanted to show this, especially just to honor Willie, of course, is the 8 World Series flags flying in center field. The 3 from San Francisco are over the C, the E, and between the P and the A. The New York ones are surrounded, and the one that's on the very right-hand side is basically a placeholder for our 9th World Championship. And what that does is it celebrates the founding of the Gothams in 1883. Here you can see that from a different viewpoint with the flags flying. One of the things that we were told, and I see the flags flying, it reminds me of one of the things that we learned the other day. Oracle Park has and you guys all will know this anyway, has the lowest starting temperature of any team in Major League Baseball. The average starting temperature for games at Oracle Park is 60 degrees. The next closest is Seattle with 63. So you can just throw that out to somebody sometime. Here's some more of our New York memories. Of course, Jackie Robinson, who could have been a Giant. Remember 51. This one now has been moved as well. But then there's Mathewson and McGraw, who didn't wear numbers in that during that era. Our Hall of Fame broadcasters. And then these seats right down here, this is also one of the changes. This is a new area called the Diamond Club. Special treatment down there. And all these seats now that go from about sections 209 to about maybe 214, they are all going to be padded. They're all padded. So that's an upgrade for season ticket holders as well. Our retired numbers. This was done shortly, obviously, after Willie and Orlando passed away. Next in July or August, Jeff Kent's number will be retired, and we're pretty much running out of numbers in the 20s. And we end it. And this is a picture of me after Willie's passing. And then, luckily enough, when Gary and his wife came out a couple of years ago, I got to take Gary on a tour. And then right next to Gary is the Thrill, number 22. He came up and spent a little bit of time chatting with us. So, and he's a great guy. Will Clark is really a nice guy. He's very accommodating to the fans that are at the ballpark as far as, talking to them, listening, signing autographs and so forth. So he's a really cool guy. So that's my tour. And now I can take a breath. But I will tell you guys, of all the things that I've done speaking wise, I was probably as nervous about this. Part of it is because of the technology. I want to thank Norm for coming down from Millbrae, Gary, for helping out the other day when we did our test run, and Larry. But I especially want to thank Gabe Bibliowicz, my boss, for doing so much of the picture taking and setting the slideshow up. So we couldn't have done it without Gabe. So I'm ready if anybody has any couple of quick questions or whatever about. So, okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You wanna give me the screen back, Norm?
Yeah.
Russ, that was fabulous. I mean, I can't think of a better tour unless you're actually there, but just fabulous. And I'm giving you a round of applause. Just one. And Norm,
thank you. I swear to God, this means a lot. I tell you.
Oh, it was fabulous.
Norm, thanks so much for taking the time. All right, Mars, go ahead.
Oh, well, thanks, Russ. That was fabulous. So I have 3 questions.
Okay.
Missy Misalecki told me that there's going to be a Jeff Kent exhibit, I think, on the club level. And so that's my first question. You want to answer that one first?
There is something in the this new Hall of Fame thing where I think Jeff Kent's jersey is up there. Yeah, and so there's some different things about his career that'll be up there. And Missy was saying that some of these things they changed during the course of the season. So yes, Jeff Kent is being acknowledged right now.
Good, very well deserved. My next 2 questions are there any changes to the field? And the third question is, during the pandemic, to the Knothole Gang area where you could look through from the port walk, did they ever have plexiglass up there during the pandemic?
Yes, they did. They had plexiglass there, and there was some question because that seemed to have cut down on that breeze that was coming through those open arcade doors, and they thought maybe they would keep those because I remember they thought that the Giants were hitting some more home runs with that plexiglass on there, but the plexiglass is gone now. Okay, and then the other one, what have they done to the field? It's not I wouldn't say they put down new turf this year. Okay, new grass and new infield dirt. And so this was 3 years after they had done it the last time. So, but I didn't see anything that is particularly new at all. And if any of the other guides out there can pop in, but there wasn't anything real special. They did do a little bit of stuff with kind of after Chapman and his issues. And so, but Johnny didn't want to go into a whole lot of stuff on that.
What issues with those
Well,
concerning Chapman?
Chapman complained at one time that he felt that the cause of his problems with his hand when diving for balls is the cuts and the scrapes and so forth that he got, that it was too hard and too rocky over there. So that was a
Oh,
big thing towards the end of the season.
oh, thank you, Russ.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Mars. Mr. Klink, you're up.
Thank you very much, Gary and Russ. Thank you for presenting to us. Really, it's a first class presentation. It's a first class demonstration of the Giants. Really, truly state of the art. What I'd really like to see, I'd like a challenge.
Okay.
And that would be Mark Langlois or whoever down there in Dodger land. Do a side by side. I don't know what they've got at Dodger Stadium. It's been a long time since I've entered that place, but I can't imagine they have anything side by side. They can't come close to this thing. They
Well,
really can't.
it's good to say, and because I've never been to Dodger Stadium, and so
Oh,
you know,
you haven't missed anything.
I know Connie has been there, and some of the other guys have been there, but we're real proud of what we do. I know that a lot of people have liked Boston's tour. I liked Boston's tour also, except they put too many people on it. We try to keep ours limited to 25 to 30. And and I didn't think that they showed nearly as much at Fenway Park as we do. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty biased in that regard.
Follow-up question on the exhibits. I know they're on the club level.
Yeah.
What is the limitations on access to see the exhibits by the general fans?
Well, that's the in order to see them during the game, you have to have a club level ticket,
Mhm.
and so that
Field club. Or field club.
or field club, yeah. So if you have a bleacher ticket, you're not getting out there unless you uh, can snuggle up to one of the people that's at the front door to say, "Let me in. I want to see this." But uh, so that's the deal. In fact, when I started doing tours in 2014, the World Series trophies were up on that level, and so again, that was limited to our total fan base, and now they're downstairs where everybody can see them. So that was a change that was made. But
Okay.
yeah, the general fans, unless you have a field club or a club level, you don't get access to that.
Finally, I read your biography,
Yeah,
and I noticed that among other things in life, you've coached Barry Bonds and Tom Brady at
yeah,
Sarah High School.
yeah.
So my question is, I doubt you coached him, but my question is, was he there when you were there? Was Greg Gutfeld a student there when you were there?
Uh, he was in my homeroom for 2 years.
Was he as big a cut up there as he is on TV?
Yes. Yes, he
We won't
was.
go any further
He
than
he
that.
he was taking an honors class that I wasn't teaching at the time, but he was co-editor of the school paper and generally known as just a little pop off. So I don't
Nothing's
watch him.
changed.
I don't watch him on TV, but I know that the
I
little
can
ex.
assure you, nothing's changed.
That's what
Nothing has changed.
I've heard.
And what to close out, if I might, a comment for Larry. Larry, I'm looking forward to reading your book, but I have to give you an important correction. You may have misnomered this in the course of the book. The Fort Eustis, which is in Newport News, Virginia, is not in Tidewater. That area is known as the same as it is where the Giants played. It's known as the Peninsula. And that was the area of Newport News, Williamsburg, Hampton, and Newport News and Poquoson and York County are known as the Peninsula. They don't like to be called Tidewater. That's the guys over on the other side in Norfolk. We owned our first home in Newport News, about 5 miles from Fort Eustis. It's a great area. I love to go back.
Oh,
My publisher's editor lives in that area.
They should have known to call it
and
the
did not make that correction. It's probably one of those things where you live in San Francisco or you live in Oakland. One doesn't
Great
like
area.
the other.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks, Bill.
I'm not giving you a hard time. I'm looking forward to reading the book. I
Thank
love
you.
novels.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bill. Norm Coleman, I'm sure you can't raise your hand. Did you want to ask something?
I just think it was a great presentation. I love the ballpark, and he just introduced. I mean, no one could show more and do better in telling you about this ballpark than Russ just did. That's all. I have no
Thank you.
questions. That's all I can say.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Russ. Mr. Jim.
Thanks, Gary. Russ, I really enjoyed it. My last trip out there was in 21 for the playoffs, and they were just starting the Mission Rock project.
Okay.
So I don't, can you tell us a little bit more about where it is now and what's there? Is there new hotel space? And
There's not hotel space, and I'm not sure if there are plans to be hotel space because basically the thrust is to kind of be a neighborhood. So right now they have two big apartments. There's one called the Canyon and one called the Village or something like that. So those are the two big apartment buildings that are there, and then there's the Visa buildings. Now on the streets in between, they are coming with coffee shops, sandwich shops, some restaurants for dinner, and then there's a big park to the left-hand side where there used to be an old one of the Giants mini baseball fields over there. So that's pretty much what they have. So the parking the spot occupies a little bit less than half of the original parking lot, and it's all on the front end towards Terry Francois. So like during the course of the winter we had Cirque du Soleil and some of the other different types of things on that other side. So they I think we had our introductory meeting, and they're going to begin to be doing some other, they're planning out in the next 2, 3 more years as far as adding on. So it's going to be another 5, 6, 7 years before they probably
Wow.
complete that.
So I've stayed at the Via and the Hyatt on 3rd
Yeah.
Street before.
Yeah.
Are those still the closest?
Yeah, the Via right
Hotel?
across the street is right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And I will tell you, if anybody, we get our schedules, we send in our availability in the middle of the month. We get our schedules for our May schedule in April or whatever else. If anybody is coming out and wants to hook up with me for a tour, I'll be happy to do what I can. You can get my info from Gary and just said, hey, I'm coming out. Can you hook me up or whatever? So if I can't do it, then I can let you know who's working or whatever else. But I can do what
I'm
I
going
can.
to take you up on that. And
Okay.
does it include a tour of Norm's museum, or is it?
I know he said I got to get up there. So I once I get through with my April schedule, I'll look up to come up to Millbrae. So to see.
Thank you. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Ed Freer, you're up, Ed.
A simple question. Thank you, Russ, though, for this tour. I've only been to San Francisco once, and that was, over 20 years ago. But I did manage to tour around the park. The field was up. It was February. But as I walked around McCovey Cove, as a New Yorker, I looked up and I saw McGraw's Fries, a reference to food that was sold there. And is that gone now or something similar where they talked about in New York?
Well, there is some things that talk about New York, and to be honest with you, I don't recall a McGraw's Fries. I know we have Murphy's Clubhouse is one of the things that's for a food, and then we have the Cha Cha Bowl, Orlando's place. But I'm blanking on a McGraw's thing right now. So
nobody might remember it,
Yeah,
But that was the one thing I stood out to me. What a beautiful setting, though. Just beautiful.
It certainly is.
People are out there in the morning doing that high chi or whatever it is, out there by the boats with
Yeah.
call that.
Yeah. Tai Chi.
I didn't do that, but maybe I should have.
Thanks, Ed.
Well, I was trying to get my yoga group to get up there, but there is absolutely no way that we can set foot on the field, So that is like, especially with our guests that come in and the kids and they want to walk on the field or whatever else. But of all things, the field is verboten. So,
thanks, Ed.
Thank you very much.
Paul, you're up, Paul.
Russ, thank you. That was a wonderful tour.
Thank you.
I never I mean, I've been out west a few times, but the thing that always got me going was seeing slides and hearing it talk first. So you've certainly motivated me to want to get out there and see the park.
All right, great, great.
Again, I've actually been out there twice, but I want to go again. My question is about the tours. Are they
Yeah.
on game days?
Yes, we have. Yeah, we have game day
what's the
tours.
story?
So we have game day tours. So, for example, if there is a night game, we will have a 10:30 and 12:30 tour. And then, depending upon what time the night game actually is, if you want to call, I'm working Saturday with my friend Connie, and so the game starts at 4. Well, we're doing our tour from like 2:15 to 4:15 or something like that, or whatever that time is before the game. So we have a pregame tour that starts. It ends when the gates open. So an hour and 15 minutes before the game. That's when that tour ends. And so that's an hour and a half. We have a VIP pregame tour, which is more expensive because you're down on the field during both batting practices. So we usually go down there to start with the Giants, watch 10, 15 minutes. People can get some autographs or take some pictures. And then we go around the ballpark, and we also go into the Gotham Club game room, which is not available for most tours. And then we will go down for the visiting team batting practice and stay down there pretty much until they're done, and then we disperse. But we have tours every day except for Christmas,
Okay.
Thanksgiving, and maybe that's it. Or unless there's some big concert where we're beginning to no longer do concerts, no longer doing tours on concert days because it's just too crazy.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
So when people get a tour of the ballpark, do they get to see what you showed? I mean, in a typical tour,
Yes.
do they get to see what you showed us tonight?
The only thing that I didn't really get in was the visitors club clubhouse because it's just right now it was in a state of disrepair. So we can go into the visitors clubhouse on non-game days. Okay, so we can't get in there during when say for right now we couldn't get in this week with the Dodgers there, but we can go in there when the Giants are gone. And so that's about and we don't go into the Giants clubhouse.
Okay.
Okay. But everything that you saw, that's what our tour is.
Okay. And
Thank
the
you,
last
Paul.
question is,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
last question is, I'm sorry, just tongue in cheek, is when they put Gaylord Perry's statue, did anybody think of putting a waterfall nearby because
No,
of what he put on the baseball?
no, but that's very good because that's something I forgot. One of the things that they did was they taped small jars of Vaseline under every seat that was out there on King Street and on the sidewalk. So that
That's cute.
yeah,
Thanks,
yeah.
Russ. Thank you.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Renee.
Russ, wow, fantastic. Had a great time. I would love to be at one of your tours and to echo Jim and everybody else here. I love the whole thing, the whole artifacts, the history, the hall. I mean, I can't eat it up enough. I mean, it would be great if it was all inclusive into one building, the entire history of the organization. That would be phenomenal to walk in through go through the history from its birth to up to this point. I enjoyed it so much, and yes, I do agree with you. I thought about this for a long time. Peter McGowan should have a statue. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks, Renee. I would love to see us have a museum as well. There's been some talk that might come about. I think we might have talked about the Willie Mays Museum. Somebody's interested in creating a Willie Mays Museum. I think it's the guy that does the Cooperstown, SF Cooperstown. But yeah, it would be great, like the Cincinnati Reds have. That's just fabulous. So right now we don't have the space. Again, there's talk about maybe as part of this new Mission Rock project that something be done over there. But right now that is not on the drawing board.
And let me tell you, I would love to, with Jim, love to go over there and exclusively you giving us a tour. And then after that, maybe we could take a tram to Norm's place to finish up that tour. That would be phenomenal.
I think we might have to start selling tickets.
I'm ready to pay. I got my credit card ready. Let me know what it is.
Yeah.
Thanks again. It was great.
Thanks,
welcome.
Renee.
Yeah.
Joanne, you're up, Joanne.
Exceptional. I have to say, truly an extraordinary tour. And
Oh,
that's
thank
from
you. Thank
one
you.
tour. I'm a licensed tour guide here in
Oh,
New
okay.
York as
Okay.
well. But yours was exceptional. One of the things that really intrigued me, and I know this has probably most people aren't even going to say it, but about the ring. I
Yeah.
mean, you as one of the employees you were able to purchase it.
Yes.
I'm a little confused about that. Would you explain that a little more?
So there's different levels of rings. Okay. So obviously there is the players, the owners, the
Right.
top level, and then they go down to mid-management and so forth. And on those, they had to pay tax on it. Okay, because
Right.
it's a gift. And so
Right.
then our level of employees, and I'm not sure because we work for the Giants, but people that work in the food thing, I don't know if they had that option because they don't work
Right.
technically for the Giants. Okay.
Right.
But yeah, after they won, and I got a letter from the Giants, and they, said thanks for being the best tour guide ever.
Well, why
Not quite.
not? You know,
And they said, we'd like you to, join us in celebrating our victory, and this is what we can do for you. And
wow.
so that's why I said, yeah, I'm gonna. So
Why not?
Joan,
Yeah.
one of our guides, she has one. There's not too many of us that have rings, but I like to wear it when I work, and I told my guests that if I got one of these when I was single, I would have had a lot more dates in my 20s than I did.
Well, here's the question. Is that kind of standard with the other organizations? Because that seems kind of special with New York Giants or the San Francisco Giants.
I've heard that other teams that who was it? The Astros maybe gave one to everybody, or I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I would find that hard to believe. It's the first time I've heard about a tour guide having one. So kudos to you.
Yeah,
Exceptional, honestly. And I'm telling you, I'm a guide here. You were top notch. I mean,
Thank you so much.
you have inspired me, and I haven't been there yet, but
Well,
honestly, I want to come.
I have been lucky in my life to have great jobs, and so this one, when the Giants came to San Francisco, I was just 8, and my grandpa worked at Seal Stadium, and so there was not a whole lot of games that I had to pay to get into, and
Wait. Shh.
yeah. Oh, and anyway, I love history, and so the Giants in history is just it's too good for me to pass up.
Thanks, Joanne.
Absolutely.
Good seeing you.
Thanks.
Tom, go ahead.
Russ, outstanding. Very good.
Thank you.
I've been on a few tours with some friends from out of town, and what you did today was really, really kind of special.
Thanks.
And thanks for the mentions of my cousin Frank O'Doul.
Okay.
Pictures of the bridge. We're working on a documentary right now on Lefty O'Doul as an ambassador to baseball throughout the world. And we have some video of the bridge going up and down, so it should be part of our documentary.
Yeah.
And you also showed the plaque from Japan. Now, the one you showed was the one that's just inside the gate at 3rd Street Gate, O'Doul Gate.
That's the one I showed, yeah.
And when we got the plaque from Japan, McGowan was still alive at the time, and I presented the plaque to the Giants. I said, nobody's going to see it in my garage. Maybe I should have given it to Norm. Anyway, McGowan said, we'll put it up where everybody can see it. Well, the original plaque is up on the club level. And
right.
When I found that out, I said, Peter, not everybody can see it. You got to have a pass or a ticket or, field club ticket to get up on the club. So the one you showed today was a replica that the Giants made,
right?
But it's identical to the original plaque.
Right. Yeah.
I was back in Cooperstown last year, and they have a new exhibit there on Japanese American baseball relationship with Japan.
Right. Yeah.
For Ishiro's induction. And here's the Lefty O'Doul plaque in the Japanese exhibit. And I go, Where did they get that? They only made two. One's in Tokyo, one's in San Francisco. It was on loan from San Francisco.
Right. Yes, I remember seeing that when I was there this last summer. Yeah.
Okay, it was very good. But again, thank you, Russ. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you
Thanks,
so
Tom.
much.
Don, why don't before you'll finish us, and then I'll just chime in some stuff. Don, you're up.
Thanks, Gary. Great job, Russ.
Thank
So I'm
you.
curious. I saw that I just started being an usher last year at the park, and I saw you started as an usher. So I'm curious, why'd you switch over to the tour, and how many times do you work a year? How much does tours? How many times do you have to show up for tour guide?
As much, well, we have to do, I think, a minimum of 5 shifts a month.
Okay.
And so you can work after that 5, you can work as much as you want to. And so in the wintertime, some people might only work like twice a month just because the number of tours is less. But like right now, I'm working 10 days in April. Probably have more than that in June and July. So it all depends upon just how much that we want to do. Why I switched over to tours was too many cold nights in center field was one thing. And I use this, if we have teachers out there, being a guest service is in many ways like being on yard duty. And I was a teacher for 35 years, and I'd much rather teach than be on yard duty. And so I asked to switch, and I had an interview and passed the test. So it's more me. It's more talking about the game and the Giants that I love, rather than saying, "Hey, sit down" or "Don't swear," or those types of things. So it was yard duty versus teaching.
Maybe I'll reach out to you and see if there's any openings, because I think I'm with you.
Yeah. Well, we're in the process. I think we've narrowed. We're hiring some people, but I'm not sure. I think the hiring process might be.
You freeze?
There'll be opportunities.
Okay, there we go.
None of us is getting any younger. So
Thanks, Phil. Russ, great. I look forward to meet you out there at the park this year.
Yeah,
Thanks,
for sure.
Don.
Yeah.
Hey, Russ, I know you're going to say there's nothing like being on tour, actually you leading it in person, okay?
Well, I didn't hear
There's nothing like having you lead the tour in person. That being said, I think this should go onto, one of the social media formats that the Giants have. This was exceptional, and to get people to really know what's going on with the Giants, at the park. It was great.
Well, thank you again. Thanks so much.
I don't know why it was starting to freeze, but it was just fabulous.
Thanks very much.
And the last thing you got to do, I don't care what anybody says, you got to get that wall with the New York Giants on it too, okay? See what you can do.
I didn't hear any of what you said. You were.
I said you broke up. Yeah, the last thing is you got to get that wall fixed. We need the Giants from New York on it too. Let's all give it up for Russ. Russ, great job.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening, and I'm glad that you enjoyed it so much.
And the next, we will reconvene on April 7th with Lee Lowenfish talking about the Fordham Flash, Frankie Frisch. So happy Passover, happy Easter. I'm going to shut off the recording and we'll talk Giant baseball for a little bit. Have a great night, everybody. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Russ, there was a part.